What's up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk. I mean, there's just something about the Underdog. And today we have an absolute beast on the Underdog Talk. But before we get into this interview, you know I have to give this gentleman a proper Underdog Talk introduction. Today's guest is best known for his Iron Sanctuary. Wow, stutter. TikTok. His unique form of humor and well-kept red beard have amassed him more than 6 million followers, from glitter beards and women clothing to a full-body recomp to a national qualified bodybuilder, bringing awareness to the sport of bodybuilding and therapy for mental health through fitness. And finally, a man who once said, "It stinks so good, I am proud and honored to present the one, the only Mr. Kevin Clevenger." What's up, big fella? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I just got done meal prepping before this, so I'm feeling pretty good now.
What were we meal prepping? Are you a chicken and rice kind of guy?
One of my meals is chicken and rice, but we're doing a lot of oatmeal right now and some potatoes because we're about 13 weeks out. So I'm doing flank steak and potatoes, which is this meal right now, and then I got 2 more after this. So chicken, potatoes, rice, oatmeal is pretty much my meals right now.
Well, I love it. And what show are you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing Northwest Champions. It's a show in Auburn, Washington in November. That was kind of like a last minute thing we decided to do. I was originally planning on doing a show called Night of Champions, but I tore my patellar tendon about 9 weeks ago. And that show was the beginning of October. So I was like, well, let's heal up the knee and just kind of go from there. And so I started doing the PRP injections on my knee, and that made a huge difference. So we decided to say, okay, let's do a show in November, kind of see where we're at in terms of like leanness and stuff. And then we're shooting for nationals in December.
Wow, it's all about the bounce back, Kevin. And we certainly know about the Night of Champions. I mean, that's where some of the legends have been made, including some of the guys that have been on Rich Aspari, Sean Ray, and so many more. Now, Kevin, I got to ask before we start this interview, man, and this has been on my mind all day. Is Viagra your go-to pump product?
No, Cialis is. I've taken Viagra for pump before, but honestly, I mean, it's a great product to take for pumps. But in terms of like the other benefits that you get, Cialis is definitely a better way to go. It's got a half-life of 36 hours. You don't have to take nearly as much, and I mean, other than the pump, it obviously helps with blood pressure as well. And that's the big reason that I actually got it prescribed for me was the blood pressure.
Noted. Wow. Noted. All right. Wow. Yeah. Noted. I was really interested on that. Now, Kevin, I want to kind of take it back a little. Obviously, as I, alluded, you currently have 6 million TikTok followers, which is phenomenal. Your unique form of humor has really been something that's taken you off. But I kind of want to go back. How did that all start? Do you ever see yourself, getting such a large following? And then why the content that you produce in terms of that humor, but also that mental health aspect? Where did it all start from?
Originally, I mean, I'd been making videos for a while, and it got to the point just like random videos, and just like on Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat, stuff like that. But when TikTok started kind of gaining some popularity, I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to make some videos for TikTok. And I made a couple. I had one video that went super viral. It got like 23 million views. And it was basically a scavenger hunt my wife had left for me, where I'd walk around the house and it's like, hey, check this, check that, check the dryer, check the dishwasher. And it ended with take the trash out, right? And so that video got like 23 million views. It was the first video I had that went viral, and I was like losing. Actually, no, there's a second one. The first one was as you might have guessed, me wearing women's clothing. It was a video of me wearing my wife's leggings, and I was like, my ass looks great in these. And that's the first one that went viral. That was October of 2019. And then The scavenger hunt video went viral like 3 or 4 days before I started doing the glitter beards. I jumped into something that I wasn't even a part of. It was a not an argument, but a competition between Beer Bong John and Fresh Prince of No Hair, Tyler and John, and I was like, these guys suck at glitter beards. I'm gonna do one because John's glitter beard wasn't like crazy, and I was like, I've done glitter beards before. I'm gonna do this right. So I made a split glitter beard, and that video went all kinds of viral. And then the entire month of December of 2019, we just did the most crazy stuff, just glitter Christmas ornaments, all kinds of crazy stuff in our beards. And within like a month, I hit 1 million followers just from doing that. And I made jokes. It was funny too. At the beginning of that, I made jokes. I made a joke to my dad, and I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do this full time. I'm just going to put glitter in my beard and Christmas ornaments, and I'm going to end my construction business, and we'll just do this. And what's even funnier is not even 3 months after, because March of 2020, COVID hit, and I had to shut my business down. And I had just signed my first contract for an energy drink company who will not be named because they suck. And it paid all my bills. Like that amount of money for the month paid all our bills. And I was like, wow. All right, let's kind of go from there. And the content obviously progressed from there. Right when COVID hit, I started doing the DIY videos, the 5-minute craft videos. And every single one of those was getting 10, 15, 20 million views. Like within hours. Like I had a couple get like 10 million views within like 2 hours. And I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. So I did every one of them. And it worked really well because there were so many people getting on TikTok when COVID started. And so like everything just went viral. And then through the entire following year, just kept posting videos. My wife got pregnant at the beginning or at the end of 2019. So we announced that in the beginning of 2020 and followed the whole pregnancy with the fruit, like, oh, it's the size of a grapefruit, size of a cantaloupe throughout the entire way. And so many people were anticipating that they named my daughter Baby Sanctuary before she was even named. So that was really cool. I gained I don't like to call them followers. At that point, for that period of time, it was like a whole freaking ginormous family. Yeah. Because these people had watched me talk about not being able to get pregnant and trying for a couple years. And then not even a couple months later, boom, we're pregnant. And then boom, everything just kind of compounded. And then the mental health thing, I've always been super open about my mental health on social media. Cause I think social media was created and everyone's like, oh, these people's lives look amazing. They're so happy and they're great all the time. But like, no one posts the bad shit, people only post the highlights. And I was like, that's disingenuous, especially if someone who has a platform. Like I'm in recovery. I have 7 years clean and sober. And I've dealt with mental health literally since I was like 10. And it got progressively worse through COVID as it did for a lot of other people. And so I was like, I'm going to talk about it. If I'm feeling fucked up, I'm going to tell people I'm feeling fucked up. And the one thing that really messed with my mental health the most, honestly, was the fact that I was never like in really bad shape before. I was always in really good shape. I went to the gym regularly. I've been lifting since I was like 15. And then when I was doing construction, I was working like, 14, 15 hours a day. And I didn't put on fat at all because I was just working all the time. But when COVID hit and I was just DoorDash and all the gyms were closed and everything, I put on a bunch of weight, and that's what messed with my mental health quite a bit. So, and that's where the whole body transformation came from. And then, I lost a bunch of followers for that too. Cause they're like, well, you're not funny anymore. I'm like, my content has always been like, hey, here's what I'm doing with my life. Brandy's pregnant. Here's the updates on that. Here's all these 5-minute craft videos that I found that I think are hilarious. I'm going to just do a bunch of videos with that. You know, it's basically just me point, click, shoot what I'm already doing. And what's funny too is at the beginning I was like, I'm going to lose weight. And everyone's like, hell yeah, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. And then 6 months later, I step on stage, you know, and get first place unanimously, you know, qualify for nationals. And everyone's like, fuck you. I'm like, what? You guys were so excited for me to do this. And then I did it and you're upset. And a lot of people were like, oh, it's your ego. You know, you're just a bodybuilder now. And I'm like, my username is Iron Sanctuary. It's what do you think that means? But so that's why I was like, this last year, I mean, even at the end of last year, I was like, I was combining the mental health and fitness thing. I lift weights because it makes the sad voices go away. I sold a bunch of hoodies on Teespring. They all sucked. They were great because they sold so many of them, but I ended up having to give like, you know, thousands of free hoodies away with the new company I'm going through for my merch because all the lettering fell off, you know, and I'm going through Teespring to try and deal with some stuff with that. But like, I was like, if I'm gonna have a brand that I want to actually mean something, I'm not gonna be like, oh, sorry, you know. So it cost me a lot of money when I switched. But I was like, I'm gonna combine the two things that I'm really passionate about, which are mental health and fitness, you know, because that's so many people use the gym for that. But yeah, that's pretty much how we got to where we are now.
Wow. And Kevin, I mean, I was listening to everything, and I think the big reason that I really wanted you on the Underdog Talk is obviously you're a phenomenal bodybuilder, but the mental health part, and I think it's so key. So many people are not open about their mental health, especially, you know, these people that we look up to, like you, Kevin, and like so many people these days. They portray a life that is not really them. They don't show their struggles. They don't show those ups and downs. You know, and I also have been struggling with mental health, you know, my whole life. Extreme OCD, you know, during COVID, Kevin, it was a nightmare. I probably had, when people ask me how many COVID tests I have, probably had about 230. My mind couldn't stop. One little symptom, boom, I'm getting COVID test. So even on the show, I talk about mental health sometimes. And I think what I really love about you is you are so open about it, and you're such a big advocate. And I think, Kevin, my question to you is, why do you think people, you know, not even just in our fitness industry, but why do you think people are so embarrassed or scared to, you know, talk about their mental health?
I would say, I mean, I'm going to speak for men, just because I'm, you know, I can't say, you know, one way or the after some conversations that I've had with women, there's so many different reasons when it comes to them. And I can't speak for them, but I can say for men, for the most part, it's our fear of being judged.
Yes.
It's our fear of feeling like less of a man because you can't handle your shit. And a lot of that has to do with how we grew up, especially in my generation and the generation above us. We were raised to be, you know, tough and to just work through your stuff and, you know, don't be emotional and be a man and, you know, be the man of the house. And which is great and all in the moment, you know, when you're learning all that stuff, because you want to be tough, you want to be able to handle your shit, not just necessarily take care of people, but you want to be able to handle your shit. And so you're telling yourself that the entire time. And then all of a sudden you can't handle your shit and you feel like a failure. And that's where the biggest problem comes in is like, I mean, men, what do we make up? 72% of all suicides, or I think the number might be even higher. It's an enormous number. And it is because of the way we've been taught to handle our emotions. You know, saying you need help is a form of weakness. It's showing that you're weak. And I think that's bullshit. I completely I grew out of that really quickly because when I got into recovery and when I got clean, like if you don't talk about what you're going through, you're gonna get loaded, you know. And so and I related the same thing to mental health because, you know, I've had multiple attempts and I mean, since I got clean, I haven't had any attempts, but I've had some ideations, you know. And but if I didn't talk about those things, I wouldn't be here, you know, and that's as uncomfortable as it is. I think, I don't know, starting the conversation is the hardest part, but once the conversation is started, like, you're gonna feel, it's not gonna fix everything, but you're gonna feel better, because what most people don't really understand is we're all going through shit. Every single, I have not met one person my entire life that has not dealt with some sort of depression or any sort of mental illness that has negatively affected their life.
I so agree, and I sometimes I'm thankful for my OCD because it makes me need to tell people what I'm going through. That
Yeah.
obsession of having to tell people, because I'm so glad I can talk about it, because if it was so bottled up, I don't know what the negative effects it would do to me. I really don't. I'm open that I go to a psychiatrist, psychologist, and one thing on this show, speaking to some of the best bodybuilders of all time, the one thing I've learned, fitness and in life, you can be physically strong, but if you're not mentally strong, you are not complete and you are not at the best of your ability. And I think that's so key to realize that, we really need to have both of those aspects of our life, at least controlled to a point. We can't just be living on a physically, fit body and have a mentally weak mind, because we won't be what we're meant to be. And I think that's so true, Kevin. People are so scared to open up. I say take the chance, talk to someone, talk to a close friend, talk to your family, talk to someone, reach out to me. I know, Kevin, you are a very supportive influencer. I've seen people reach out to you, and I see you take your time. And I think that is what we need. We need someone who is there for us, whether it be, Kevin, whether it be your parents. People are there for you. So open up. Now, Kevin, I want to ask, what is your other tip for someone who's going through something right now, like you once were? What is that tip that you wish you knew?
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
It's not forever. And that's why you hear all the time people say it's a permanent solution for a temporary problem, is obviously suicide. It's not going to be like this forever. It really isn't. Especially if you choose to take the steps to, because that's all it comes down to, is honestly is just taking the small little steps, doing the next right thing. And it's not going to be a night and day difference, but it's going to slowly get better. Because I mean, last year in December, I was going through a major depressive episode. I almost checked myself into a psych ward, how bad it was. And finally, because I hadn't been on antidepressants or anything, I just, I was raw dogging it for like the last 6 years, which was fine, because it was, I didn't really struggle with it as much for a while. And then, having time, not having to necessarily go to a job, and having time to think about life, especially with COVID and everything, really, really opened my mind up to, like, I've got some shit I'm going through and I haven't worked through a lot of it. And so I ended up seeing a psychiatrist and getting on antidepressants. But even during that time, like, I was like just straight up bawling in the middle of the day. And I was like, I'm never gonna not feel like this. This sucks. I'm gonna feel like this forever. And then I look back at that now. I'm like, when you're in that, it's so hard to see the other side of it, but it will pass. It is not permanent. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be miserable, but it's not permanent.
And then to add on to that, one of my favorite quotes is, flowers can't just grow in the sun. They need a little bit of rain. And I think there is something to say for that. Yes, we don't ask for these challenging and hard times, but they will make us stronger. Whether we like it or not, they will make us fucking stronger. And Kevin, I thank you for being so open, because not just in the fitness industry, we need influencers who are more open about this, because it's tough for me, because I am solely in the fitness industry, and we just see muscles and we just see their workouts. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I love this fitness more than anything else. But I think we need to start talking more about the mental health side too, as I am such a big advocate for it. Also, Kevin, so thank you for being so open. I'm so glad that each step you are inspiring others. Each step you are becoming better yourself. And I mean, no one's perfect at the end of the day. We all have those mental health battles. Like you said, it's about how we deal with it, how we cope with it, and how we come out stronger. So thank you,
Exactly.
Kevin, from the bottom of my heart. Now, I kind of want to also look at the thing that some people are like, well, why is Kevin's name Iron Sanctuary? I want to look at Iron Sanctuary. Would you mind, talking a little bit more about Iron Sanctuary and then, why you started it, the meaning behind it, and just a little more about it, Kevin?
Well, the name. So when I was 15 years old, I went to my first gym. And there was this guy that was working out there. His name's Ken Rosslin. He's a pastor. He's a natural bodybuilder. Just local guy. He hasn't gone on any national shows, I don't think. Really, really good bodybuilder. And I heard him say it a couple times. And he goes, "I'm at the Iron Sanctuary." And I was like, I love that. And mind you, this was 15 years ago, almost 15 years ago. He's like, "Yeah, this is my Iron Sanctuary." And I was like, I really like that. So I started calling the gym the Iron Sanctuary. And I asked him, I was like, "Cool if I use that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so lifting has been a part of my life since that time, even during my use for a period of time until homeless got really bad. Can't really go to the gym, but even through all that, the gym was always like my therapy. It was the sanctuary where I could go and everything would shut up for an hour and a half. I could just lift. And so I started using the Iron Sanctuary that as my username on everything, because I was like, I love the Iron Sanctuary. So I've been using it on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Someone has Iron Sanctuary on Twitter. They took it before I could get it. But I've been using that on everything for a long time. And when I started TikTok, actually, I didn't have that as my username. I had it as just my first and last name because I was just posting, I was just watching. I wasn't posting anything. And when I posted the first video that started to go viral, I was like, I don't want my name on there. I don't want people to know my name. So I changed it to Iron Sanctuary. And then it's funny too, because that's just what I called the gym, that's what I called, just what I called the gym. And then now it's a euphemism for me. When people recognize me in public, they're like, "Oh, it's Iron Sanctuary." I'm like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, that's what I call the gym. And it means a lot to me. I've had a couple of people be like, "Oh, you're copying The Rock." I'm like, if you look back, I coined Iron Sanctuary way before. I didn't coin it. Obviously, Ken was saying it before, but I started using that way before Iron Paradise happened. But he's got a collab with Under Armour, so he kind of wins that one.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne's doing okay with that, I guess.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's doing all right.
Doing okay.
Dwayne Johnson. No, I'm playing. Yeah. He's a great guy. And I will add on to that. I mean, the gym is that one place, like you talked about, Kevin, where you can go, you can just be alone and you can just control what you're doing. You can let that anger out. It's a controlled environment to let that anger out. And I was thinking when you're talking about that, Kevin, the Iron Sanctuary, this is the Underdog talk. Honestly, I'm starting to think about calling myself just the Underdog. I don't know whether that'd be stupid or I don't know if that would be fucking awesome. I'm going to have to think about that. I really am. I love the meaning. I mean, we are talking with an absolute inspiration. And I don't say that much, but you really opened my eyes to some different things. You really had me thinking. You're what we need in the industry. And I also got to ask you, Kevin, what is your biggest tip for someone who is looking to start their fitness journey like you once were?
Ask questions. Go to a gym. And I would say this for the most part, and it's really, really tough because when I was 15 or 16 years old, I didn't want to talk to anyone. YouTube's a really good resource when it comes to learning how to do things. But my best advice, once I did this, it changed my entire idea of gym culture and lifting. I went to the biggest guy in the gym, which was Ken Ralston, and I said, I need help. You know what? Like, and I didn't like annoy him with a million questions. I'd be there because he would lift around the same time that I would lift, and I'd be watching him do something, and I'd say, hey, you know, why are you doing it that way or whatever? And then he'd explain to me like the biomechanics of it, or he would just be like, I just like the way that I feel a stretch with this lift. And I would talk to other people too. Like the best advice I would say is find the biggest guy in your gym or girl if you're a woman and ask them questions.
Mm-hmm.
Not during their set. Make sure it's between their sets.
If you do it during their set, you're going to have a whole nother
have a bad day. But most people in the gym, I think, are, from my experience, with the exception of the outliers that we see the outliers a lot because it creates good content, like Joey Swole and stuff. But like what he covers. But for the most part, the whole gym like culture is not that, you know, we're the most helpful, dude. I'll sit there and talk with someone sometimes for like halfway through my workout, someone will ask me a question, I'll talk with them for like 45 minutes. I lose my pump, whatever, you know. Some kid came up and asked me questions, especially now. It doesn't happen as much now because like there's the common what's the word, like understanding that if someone's in the middle of the lift, you know, don't bug them too much. But if they're done lifting or whatever, then usually it's free game unless they're super busy. But for the most part, like everyone is pretty chill about that. And I mean, even now, dude, like I see some people at the gym that I go to that are enormous, enormous people, like absolutely astoundingly huge dudes that I'm like, hey, what are you doing for your triceps? I got really high tricep insertions. They sit really far up. There's not a whole lot I can do, except there's this guy at the gym who also has really high tricep insertions, but they hang like crazy. I'm like, bro, what are you doing for that? And he just told me, and he was hella chill, and we're homies. You know, I don't even know his name. We just see each other every day, and like that's usually how the gym culture is. So like, don't be afraid to ask questions because we all started somewhere, you know. Everyone started at one point not ever lifting weights in their life, you know.
I mean, I so agree. Shout out to that one motherfucker because he is a dope dude. And I mean, shout out to everyone who's taken their time to really help people who are just getting in that gym, you know. Don't be an asshole about it. Don't bother them when they're in the sets. But I guarantee talking with some of the best and talking with so many bodybuilders on the show, they are some of the most genuine, respectful. You know, real quick story, Branch Warren. You think this guy is the meanest motherfucker in the world.
He is so nice.
The dude is an absolute stud, and he's a hard worker. And I know that if Branch sees you working, he will take his time, and I know that for sure. So do it. Take the chance. Take the risk. Go into that gym. Go to the biggest dude. Go to someone who looks like they know what they're doing, and just trust the process. Love the process. And the big thing: don't compare yourself to any of these guys. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Compare yourself to the day before if you're going to compare it. Try and be better the day before. Look for a positive thing each day, positive improvement, whether that be a little weight loss, whether that be more weight benched. Just try and look at positive things. And I've learned, do not be hard on yourself. You know, we only have one life. We got to live it. We got to enjoy it a little. I mean, we are talking with Kevin Clevenger. Sorry, we are talking with Iron Sanctuary. I don't know if you want people to know your real name, Kevin.
I don't. Yeah, no, it's fine. My name's on everything now, so I'm well known enough now. It's not that big of a deal.
Kevin, it has been such an honor and privilege talking with you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you taking time, being open about something that is near and dear to my heart and something that we really need to start looking at. Now, I'd like to get my guest out of here with some rapid fire questions that I guarantee you've never heard some of these questions. Are you game, sir?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Favorite cheat meal?
Burger and fries.
Classic. Classic. You can't go wrong with
It's
that.
easy, you know.
Are you going ketchup with that, ranch with that, or are you just raw dogging it?
No, just raw dogging it.
Ooh,
No tomatoes, no pickles.
ooh, wow. I like that. Keep it classy, keep it simple, get the job done. Amen. Favorite one mission nutrition product?
The 1FT, it's the non-stim pump.
Mhm.
It is, oh my god, it is like, see, it's on par with like half a fucking milligram of Cialis, or half a 5 milligrams of Cialis. Really good pumps. The taste is actually really, really good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm sponsored by them. I'm saying that because it's really, really good. I've tried a lot of pump products, and that's one of the best.
No pump for a year or no pre-workout for a year?
No pre-workout for a year. I've done no pre-workout for a while, and it's been okay. During prep, it's fucking impossible. I need like 4 scoops.
Yeah, you need, as someone who just did my first bodybuilding show, yeah, no. Pre-workout caffeine is necessary for us bodybuilders.
It doesn't even do anything after a while. Once you're deep in prep, like 9 cups of coffee a day just keeps you like moving.
Sane, I guess, is what I say.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't even want to ask this question to you. No more tattoos or no more beard?
Fuck. I'd say no more tattoos.
Wow.
For the reason I would say that is, the beard's going to stay forever. It's never going anywhere. No more tattoos. I only have one more piece left, and then I'm done until I'm done competing. Because my back's empty, my legs are empty, all the side that I pose on and stuff, that's all empty because I don't want to cover up any musculature, especially if I'm going to continue competing.
Now, Kevin, let me ask you a side note. Do you think tattoos hinder your body during a show? Do you think that affects the judges' score?
If you're not lean enough, yeah. Because you can get away. The problem with tattoos, depending on how they're placed and done, like when we did more up here, we did it so there's like a darker color where my tricep insertion goes up into my shoulder, and then because on this side too, you see how it's dark right here. It creates negative space, so it makes my shoulders look more 3D. So there's a way you can use tattoos to your advantage, but if you're not lean enough, you can't see striations. You can see striations if if you don't have any tattoos, just on bare skin. But if you think about it, you have the tattoos, then you have the spray tan on top of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it makes a difference if you're not lean enough.
I'm just always wondering if that affects the judge's decision. But I guess if you're lean enough, it doesn't matter. I mean, Kevin, you are lean enough. You are a champion.
I'm not lean enough yet. 13 weeks.
You will be.
Yeah.
You will fucking be. Last 2 are big ones. Talk like Rocky Balboa for the rest of your life, or have to box Rocky Balboa in his prime.
I'd box Rocky Balboa in his prime.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. And honestly, Kevin, I put money on you, man. You're a scary motherfucker. And you know what? Fuck it. I'll give you 5 months of training too. I would love to see this fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to.
Ooh. And I mean, yeah, wow. Now you got me thinking. I'd put some money on you too. I can't even lie. Wow. I love it. Last one is a big one. This is going to determine who you are. Pull-ups or chin-ups?
Pull-ups.
Let's go. They're
Chin-up.
harder.
Yeah. Chin-ups, like, what do you try? You do some biceps, whatever, do some chin-ups. But if you want to see the true test of someone's strength, especially with size too, chin-ups are easy as fuck. Pull-ups, they are rough even now.
Finally, someone has said the reason behind it. Chin-ups, yeah, you get the little bicep pump. Okay, who the fuck cares? With pull-ups, you are testing the true strength. You are doing a gladiator workout. I mean, we are talking with Kevin Clevenger. Such an inspiration, such a motivation. Best of luck to you in your upcoming show. Now, Kevin, the floor is yours. Where can we find your content? What code can we use? The floor is yours, sir.
All right. So you can find my content on TikTok is Iron Sanctuary, Instagram's Iron Sanctuary, Facebook is The Iron Sanctuary, YouTube, The Original Iron Sanctuary. Usually it's going to be code IRON on anything, code IRON on One Mission Nutrition, code IRON on Pride Foods, Rise and Grinds. That's just amazing. Pride Food or code Iron Sanctuary for Icon Meals. It's a really good one. And then obviously my merch, ironsanctuaryshop.com. This is a new one that's going to be dropping at the end of the month. Hopefully you can see it.
Oh, that shit's tough as fuck. Goddamn. I love that.
It's a pair of grippy socks, obviously, because, you know, a few stints in the psych ward, you get a couple of those. But I got that one. I got another one that's going to come out here pretty soon that says, I have body dysmorphia practice. That's a collab that I'm doing with a guy who made a bunch of videos. He's like, different ways to say go to the gym. And he goes, oh, I got body dysmorphia practice. I'm like, I love that. I'm going to use that for merch. And so I got a collab going with him. Yeah, ironsanctuaryshop.com. That's, you know, obviously fighting mental illness 1 rep at a time. We also have the sad voices. I lift weights because it makes the sad voices go away. We're going to do a rebrand of that as well. It's going to be a new design, hopefully at the end of the month. But yeah, that's where you can find me on everything. Twitter, I don't really post on, but
yeah, fuck Twitter.
Yeah.
First person to buy an Iron Sanctuary shirt or product, I will send you a box full of goodies and a signed autograph from one of the legendary guests we've had. Please go check out Kevin's content. Please go run up his code. Support such an inspirational, motivational human being. This is what we need, ladies and gentlemen, in the industry. We need someone who's positive, someone who's open. Kevin, again, an honor and privilege. But I mean, to be honest, that talk of burgers and fries has made me hungry as hell. So I am going to kill some food myself. But until next time, the Underdog out. Hey, Kevin,